home is never going to look clean or organized if you have so much clutter. Today I wanted to give you my best tips and hacks that I wish I knew sooner for decluttering. A good question to ask yourself when you're decluttering: would you pay full price for this item? If you would not, you probably do not love that item. I ask myself this, and usually it's 50-50, so sometimes I do love that item, I would pay full price. Sometimes I wouldn't, and that's a good indicator to get rid of that item. Another great question to ask yourself: if you were moving today, would you take that item? I feel like moving helps a lot of people declutter more, and you get really ruthless when you have so many boxes everywhere when you're moving. So I feel like it's a good question to ask yourself. My last move is what sparked my organization and decluttering journey, and that made me realize how much stuff I have. So I started getting really into organizing and decluttering, and it really has been life-changing for me. But basically, when you have so many boxes, you're going to be really picky about what you will bring. So pretend you are moving, and it will help with decluttering. Try the 90-90 rule for decluttering. So what does this mean? This means if you have not used the item in the last 90 days, or you don't plan to use it in the next 90 days. So this is being really picky with your items. Now, obviously there's some items that you might have not used, but it's a good indicator if you're using that item the last 90 days. If you have not touched it, probably good to get rid of it, or think about getting rid of it in the future because you're probably not going to use it. Use the 1 in, 1 out method for decluttering. This is my #1 method I recommend trying out if you don't do this already. So when you get a new item, look at that item and see if you have other items of the same, and try to get rid of one. This is like at the door you're decluttering, so you don't have to grab a big trash bag, go around your home and declutter all your home at once, which I feel like feels very overwhelming. I've done that, and I kind of like doing it gradually. So like recently I just got this new gray shirt. I went in, decluttered one that I don't use. I haven't worn in like years. So it's good to look at what you have, or if you get a new waffle maker, maybe you have multiple ones, you're like, oh wait, I realized I have 4. I do not need 4. Or, a kitchen strainer. I realized I had 4 kitchen strainers, so I think I got rid of 2. So again, you have to really look at your inventory of what you have, because you will be shocked. In a lot of areas, you probably already have that item. Pretend you are allergic to clutter. I use this method. I've never heard anyone say this, but this mainly comes when I get a new item. So say I buy something from Amazon. If I don't like it, I'm like, I am allergic to it, need to get rid of it. I know I'm not going to use it. So if you're going to use it. I don't think not buying anything when it comes to minimalism. I think cutting back is good. It's like dieting. If you cut back certain things, you lose weight. But if you cut back everything, you might start binge eating and want so much food. So I feel like with decluttering, I look at it like, okay, I'm allergic to certain things. I have to get rid of it. I don't have to cut back every spending, but I'm more aware of what I'm buying, and I definitely will get rid of any item that I am allergic to. You will save so much money when you live a decluttered life. This really comes to play when you can see what you have. So you're not buying duplicates. I used to buy like 4 or 5 of the same thing, and I would go in my cabinet and realize I bought 4 of them. I mean, it's such a waste of money. So that's the best part about being organized and decluttered. You can really see what you have. You're pickier about what you bring in. It's not about not bringing anything in, but you're really picky about what you bring in, so you will save so much money. Don't rely on organization bins to be decluttered. Well, it kind of can. Let me break it down. So basically, you can buy a certain amount of bins for the area, and you have to be able to fit those items in those bins. If it doesn't fit, then you need to get rid of some of the items. So you can do it that way. It's best to just declutter before. Because I'm mostly decluttered, I will declutter as I go. So I'll buy a bin, I'll fit a certain amount, and I'm like, okay, if I have 4 beach bags, I do not need 4, so I'll get rid of 1, and then it will fit in the bin. But basically, organization is great, but you have to focus more on the clutter before you organize. You want to keep your flat surfaces decluttered. So your kitchen counter, your kitchen table, your entryway. You definitely do not want to have drop zones. I think this is where a lot of people get trapped into clutter. Start with your kitchen counters. Try to remove 1 or 2 kitchen appliances. I feel like it sets the tone for your home. Something you can do is take a picture of that surface and decide what you can remove. So I did this on my kitchen counters and I removed a few different things. I removed a blender that I was never using. So try to have kitchen appliances that you use every day or once a week. And then I found a spot for like my work lunch pail, work water bottle that was cluttering up my space. And it looked so much better. So really try to only have out things that you use all the time. Try not to have drop zones if it's like your kitchen table when you first come in, put all of your stuff away instead of putting it on a table and leaving boxes in your handbag, all of your stuff that you first walk in on the door, that instantly can become clutter. If your drawers are hard to close, that is a sign you need to declutter. So it's good to go around declutter areas, but this is the first indicator when your space is hard to work with and it's like a drawer that you use every day in your kitchen. Try to find some solution, move some things around and declutter the things you're not using. Same with your dresser. I feel like that's like a clutter trap. Really focus on what you're wearing. If you're not using it, it has to go. For your closet, the best hack I have tried is keeping a small basket. When you try something on, if you don't love that item, I'm talking it's too big, too small, it's not flattering on you, the material's itchy, it's missing a button, I can guarantee you're not gonna wear it. Put it in that basket, let it sit for a month, and then either donate or get rid of the item based on how it is. But I think a lot of people struggle with your closet, like the what if, but I did a whole closet declutter where I went through everything and it felt so amazing to just have pieces that I'm really wearing, not holding on to pieces like for what if one day I got rid of all of those and it feels so much better. Also for your closet, I recommend going through your current season. If doing your whole closet sounds really overwhelming, just go through your summer dresses, your shirts, tank tops, shorts, just going through that because that's what you're using right now, or you could do the next season, but definitely doing the current season so you don't have to do your whole closet. And each season you can do this so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. Don't hold on to gifts that you aren't using. I don't think that person that gave you a watch 5 years ago still wants you to keep it if you're not using it. You really have to cut ties and not focus on stuff for memories, and you can focus on pictures, you can focus on memories you have with that person, but I got rid of this. I used to keep like every gift and it's just too overwhelming with stuff. And if you're not using it, it has to go. Try Swedish death cleaning. This is a concept of thinking about one day someone is gonna have to go through your stuff, your loved ones. So you are saving your loved ones from having to go through all of your clutter. So this is a good way to just be really ruthless and think about the future and not leave all of your stuff for someone to go through one day. The next one I recommend is not waiting once or twice a year to declutter your home. I just don't think it's enough. And you have to find a concept that works for you. For me, it's going through areas that become cluttered because I've already done a lot of decluttering, or, tackling the closet, tackling a drawer. Basically, I feel like grabbing, a trash bag, a donate bag once or twice a year is just not enough. And that feels like very overwhelming. If you declutter as you go, it's kind of like if you clean your home as you go throughout the day. You do small little habits. I've done lots of videos on that if you want to check that out. Same with decluttering. If you just tackle that junk drawer real quick, it really does not take as long as you think. You don't have to go and do a whole day of decluttering and once or twice a year. I just don't think that method is good. If it works for you, whatever works, but for me, I think tackling it as you go works so much better. Get rid of paper clutter. Paper clutter can pile up so quick. I really recommend this identity stamp, and you can just quickly jot out your name. You don't have to use a paper shredder. But basically, most manuals, most things are online. You can YouTube how to put something together. It's just hard to keep every type of paper that you've ever, something you bought, or even important documents, like to keep every single thing. So I think a few years ago went through all my papers and I had like bags of paper clutter. It was really shocking. So definitely try to limit your paper clutter. Another one I recommend is a mail organizer, just having everything in one spot. You can even have a spot that you go through your mail later, but most of mine is just junk mail. So going through that quick and not having it pile up will really make a big difference. Have a spot for everything. So this obviously comes with time, but having organization systems that you put things in you will not attract as much clutter because you will realize that item does not fit. So organizing does work with this method, because if it's a drawer and you have dividers and you can't fit that item, you probably are going to get rid of something. So the more you have a system for organization, the less clutter you're going to have. And the last tip I can leave you, if you are not in love with that item, like a 10 out of 10, I promise you are not going to use it. So you have to be ruthless with decluttering. If you're obsessing over every item, it's going to take you years. It's not going to happen. So tough love is just, you have to be ruthless. You have to get rid of things you're not using. Focus on the items that you love, that brings your home joy, and that you really enjoy using, and not just keeping the what if items. And last tip I will leave is, this is just a skill you build up over time. I think not everyone is naturally decluttered, but if you start doing it slow and build up these habits, anyone can be really decluttered. It's just little habits and choices that you make every day. So that does it for my best decluttering hacks. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and try some of these out. If you did enjoy this, give me a thumbs up. It really helps me out. In case you missed this video, small cleaning habits that take 30 seconds or less to maintain a tidy home. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe, and I will see you soon in my next video.